Everyone, and welcome to Aqueduct. Morning rains came down pretty heavy here in Queens, leaves us with a sloppy main track for the last racing day in the month of March. 8-race card, mandatory payout in the Empire 6 starts in race 3. Temperature in the mid-50s today. Here are the changes for today's races. The early pick 5 begins in race 1, no changes in the opener. And the early pick 4 begins in race 2, no changes in the second. Mandatory payout in the Empire 6 begins in race number 3, no changes in the third. The late pick 5 begins in race 4, a scratch out of race 4, take out the 1, Esor. Race 4, scratch the 1, Esor. Race 5, late pick 4 begins in race 5. Scratch the 5, Dazzling Speed. Race 5, scratch the 5, Dazzling Speed. Race number 6, scratch the 2, South of the Shore. Race 6, scratch the 2, South of the Shore. And please note, the number 3, Baba, wears a hood again. Hood again on the 3, Baba, in race number 6. Race 7 is the 6th running of the $100,000 Haynesfield. An overweight, the number 2, South Africa, is 1 pound over. 1 pound over on the number 2, South Africa, in race 7, the 6th running of the Haynesfield. And these scratches out of the finale, in race 8, scratch the 4, I See the Stars, and the 7, Spitball. Race 8, scratch the 4 and 7. A sloppy main track. The Haynesfield is our featured 7th race. Empire 6 with a mandatory payout starts in race number 3. We'll be back with a reprise of the scratches and changes at 12:50 as we start the day sloppy on this Sunday at Aqueduct. Coming up momentarily, the one and only Greg Wolf joins me for the Sunday edition of Talking Horses.
Rochambeau to see who leads us into the show. Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile. I'm filling in for Andy Serling on assignment in Albania today.
That's fantastic. Albanians very good cooks.
Are they?
Well, it's right next to Italy.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, I'm watching that Stanley Tucci Searching for Italy on CNN. Very good series.
I haven't started it yet. Andy's going to yell at me when he comes back on Friday.
Okay.
You're with me Thursday too, right?
I am. Yeah, back on Thursday.
Fantastic. As well. Andy not being here on April Fool's Day kind of just doesn't feel right.
He gets a well-deserved couple days off, so yeah, I'm going to fill in for him. Hopefully, I can provide a couple of winners here. We got a sloppy track to deal with. I know you like to kind of look back on the weekend before we get into this here on these Sundays. Did anyone impress you on the Derby Trail from yesterday?
I mean, I don't know. No Agenda ran well, obviously. It looks like a horse. He looks like a horse that's going to get better with some distance. The blinkers certainly seemed to help him last time. I think they kind of put the package all together. 94 Beyer speed figure. Still needs to play a little catch-up. Essential qualities in the high 90s. These horses still playing a little catch-up now. He was okay. He ran well. I think Greatest Honor was greatly affected by the fact that he was on the rail for 6 furlongs of the 9 furlongs yesterday. It looks like a horse that's kind of not at his best when he is in and amongst horses. Obviously, that is an issue going forward. Going to Louisville because you get the big bulky field. You don't always work out that great trip. And going 10 furlongs, you don't want to lose ground being in the 3 or 4 path around the racetrack. So, I don't know. I thought Soup and Sandwich ran particularly well. A little late to the game switching leads in the stretch. I don't know if he would have beaten No Agenda. Maybe it would have been closer, but he did a lot of the dirty work on the front end and just his third start, second around 2 turns. So we'll see how it all develops, how it all shakes out. You got some time to play. I was on my Naira Bets account this morning, taking a look. You still got some time to play Pool 5. I'm very proud of the fact that I got 42-1 on risk taking in Pool 4.
Wow.
Who's going to be one of the favorites in our Memorial next week. He was 34-1 at last check, Greg. So if you're taking action on anything today, you can take action on the Big A going to get some more 34-1 around 5:30 today.
Yeah, the other troubling thing too with Known Agenda, another horse who was drifting out and back in late in the stretch. So yeah, look, young horse developing, maybe can correct that, but not a great thing to see.
No, I don't disagree with that.
It's good to see Pletcher back. Look, he has another horse too that probably qualified at Turfway, but this looks like his Derby horse if there is one.
6th Florida Derby win.
Yep.
Him and Johnny V each had 5 going into yesterday. They run 1 too. You don't need the handicap. You don't need to listen to any of us.
True.
Just take the guys that win the races.
Especially in that
it's
race,
very simple.
Right?
Yeah.
We got a wet track to deal with today.
We do. The rain came down. I thought at one point when I woke up this morning, I got up about 7:45, and it hadn't rained a drop. I said, maybe we're going to get away with this.
No.
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 I had to wait to leave the house. I had to wait to go from the car to the office. So, yeah, we had some big downpours.
I think there's a 1-hour window where it's not going to rain today. The rest, so it's just play for a sloppy racetrack today. And it actually makes some of these races a little even more intriguing because there's a couple of horses I think that look like standouts on off tracks.
Yeah, and there's a couple that don't seem to handle it that well. So let's see if we can.
Be one of them.
Yeah, it certainly makes the Haynesfield a little interesting. And from what I think we've been dealing with a pretty fair track. We'll see what happens with in the slop.
All right, we'll talk Bankit, Haynesfield in a little bit. Let's get started with the opener on the card.
First we got to tell them when to go play all of these races today.
I always jump ahead of this, yeah.
That's okay. Naira Bets, match 200. There's Performer. He's not nominated to the Carter, so he won't be here.
Go to nairabets.com. You can also go to the app. And that code, as Anthony mentioned, match 200, and get that $200 sign-up bonus upon sign-up and play all the action today.
Andy always lets me do this because I love this promotion.
Oh, go ahead.
The last race cash back. $10 to win on a horse in the last race here and or at Oak Lawn Park. If you finish second, get you $10 back.
I like that promo.
Love it. nairabets.com for more details. You can do that on the mobile app, or you can do it on the app or on the mobile site.
Little insurance. When you play blackjack, do you ever get the insurance?
I stopped playing any kind of real blackjack about 18 years ago, and I was at a casino, and the dealer forgot to deal herself a hole card.
What?
Yeah. And I was told they were training dealers on a Sunday night during
boy.
a college basketball coaches conference the day after the Kentucky Derby.
Another reason to play the races.
Exactly. They never tell you. There's never a. You know what? When I go to my Narrow Bets account, they never not have the whole card. They let me punch my account, log info in, and they let me fire away.
Yeah, well, a great, rare occasion. Gates don't open, but usually if that happens, you're going to get your money back.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
All right, so we get into it.
Yeah.
Opener on the card, maiden special weight. We have an odds-on favorite.
We do right now. We're still about an hour to post. Yeah.
Flying with Angels, Christophe Clement. That's the 3 in here. And wow, you went to Exalted Charm.
I did. I want to take a little bit of a price in here. You know, Andy always. My man John Atfield, the assistant to Kelly Breen, friends with the owner Dave Raria. I've liked this horse. This horse took money against Prevalence in his debut. He was 11-1 in the Prevalence maiden race when he was a debuter as well. And Prevalence, of course, going to be one of the favorites in Outward Memorial next weekend here at the Big A. Took some money into him. Came up here last time out. And just kind of, it looked like he needed the race. He was entered back in a 1 1/8 race and scratched to await this spot. This was the intended spot after the race last time, and the blinkers were going to go on. That was the constant. He was entered with the blinkers on in the 1 1/8 race, entered with the blinkers on in here. He dealt with some mud last time. He's going to deal with a different sloppy track today here at Aqueduct, but I thought this horse with some racing, with the blinkers, I thought there was going to be some improvement in here. And I'll tell you what, Greg, with the blinkers on, I would be very, very surprised if this horse isn't forward, if not on the front end today.
Exalted Charm.
Yeah, Exalted Charm. I think there's him and Flying with Angels. I think will be the ones that are forward in here. I want to take a little shot with this horse at a price.
Can I make a quick phone call to Andy Serling and put him on speakerphone?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, this would be one.
I'm a little bewildered by this selection.
This would be one.
I'm not going to do it. I don't even think he's home right now. Wow. Okay, so you're going to get, I would say you're going to get all of that, at least, probably
I would think
better.
he's going to be one of the longer shots. Yeah, I would think Principino on the outside will probably be the longest shot on the board. But yeah, he's going to be, he'll be double digits, and I want to try and upset the opener today.
There is not much pace in this race. I like the inside, I Am the Law. We're going to show you that first start from him. In just a minute here. John Terranova, second-time starter, really sharp barn. I think he's one of the most underrated trainers on the circuit.
I had a tip on this horse first time out, and I bet on I picked this horse. I don't remember if I picked this horse on top, if I picked this horse second, and I bet on this horse. I used them in pick 4s, pick 5s, the whole shebang. And turning for home, I thought it was chicken dinner. Made the lead. We're going to see that, right? We're seeing that race?
I believe we are going to see it here. And the thing, too, he hopped out of the gate for the very start, but it didn't really affect him. He got right up into it. And then, yeah, he looked like he was going to win this race. I believe we have it.
I Am the Law, Francisco, if you will. Let's go to the videotape, as Warner Wolf used to say.
There we go. So, yeah, again, he had a horrible start in here. Really didn't affect him. Here he is wide, puts in a big run, and unfortunately just gets run down.
And this is like the 5th lead change in this race. They just kept, it looked like a relay race. They just kept handing the baton off, and it was like, all right, and obviously this is what horse racing is, the horse that gets to the wire first. But it's like, who makes the last move? And the last move is made by Good Culture, who gets the money in here. This horse, I think, learned a lot off his debut.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you're not looking to go off the reservation like I am, I think he's very logical. I understand Flying with Angels ran faster than both of these horses first time out. And faster than anything anyone else in here has put forth so far. We see these horses come from Tampa, and they don't always win.
Yeah.
And this horse is going to be a short price. He's going to have to deal with a wet track. Now, he's bred to love a wet track. He's a half to long weekend. It was a stakes runner a couple of years back. He can win. I don't want him at a short price.
Well, right now he's a ridiculously short price. He shouldn't be odds on by any stretch. Back time the law. It's very difficult to win at a mile first time out. Not only, we saw him take the lead in that start after a compromised beginning, and we're going to see, especially from that barn, I think start number 2, you're going to see just improvement by leaps and bounds. And Flying with Angels, same case, second start for him as well. But as you mentioned, tread lightly with those horses coming
Yeah.
from Tampa, especially for Clement.
You know, I Am the Law handled the mud first time out. He's going to get a wet track again today. That's something Flying with Angels is going to have to deal with for the first time.
And then
we'll see. It's an interesting
You got
opener.
a grinder too. Sono Grotto, he wound up second behind Good Culture, ahead of I Am the Law last time out.
Yep.
He's going to just kind of keep coming and coming. He was in the clouds last start. He takes the blinkers off today.
Blinkers seemed to help Rudy Rod last time. That 3-2 zone came back to win the feature on Friday.
81 buyer, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he has license as well.
All right, that's an intriguing opener where we both are going against 3 to 5. Second race, I went back. I changed my selection here 3 different times. $12,000 claiming race, 1 turn mile in this spot. In the end, I really like Deep Sea on the rail.
Wow.
Big draw. I really think the sloppy track moves this horse up a ton. In the slop, he's 2 for 4. With one of those defeats second by a neck where he was 10 plus clear of the third place finisher against better competition.
I worry that he left our circuit, went down to Parks, had success. That race 3 starts. I mean, the race 3. If he's going to run the race 3 starts back, he's 2 to 5 in here.
That's a weird race. Where did that number come?
Right, that's
92
the
buyer,
problem.
which he's never touched before.
And that's the problem. The problem is, where did that race come from? Fact of the matter is, his better races overall in his career have come on wet tracks. So he's getting a wet track. His last 2, and I'll hold the race. I won't hold the race 2 starts back against him. Grump's Little Tots. It was wide the whole way.
And that was for 50.
And it was for 50. But now I think that's part of the problem. 50, 25 eased. I mean, he was never in contact with the field last time. But now he's in for the 12-5.
I feel like part of the reason they did that is they had to take a shot because he's usually in these lower level races, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, he runs up that
You want to
massive
protect
race,
him a little bit,
92 buyer, and they said, why not? Maybe he's just getting really good. Let's take a shot against better.
You know, a horse like him, I was actually kind of surprised not to see him in any of the races yesterday. Because when he runs that big race, that, you know, to have the claiming championship day, I would think a horse like him was going to be pointed for that, and he didn't show up. I think that's a negative sign, too. I mean, look, I'm not going to talk you off a horse that's going to be 8 or 10 to 1, because he does have wet track races that would beat these horses.
Yeah.
There's a version of Deep Sea that wins this race. I just don't know if he exists anymore.
He walked off at his last start, but he has come back to work. So, and he would be in the race, obviously, if there was a big issue.
He has to work. So, yeah, I mean, and he worked a half mile in 50. It's fine.
The horse I initially changed to was a horse that you went with, Giodoro, who's, I think, the speed of the speed in the race.
Yeah. Well, when Big Mountain's involved, when Big Mountain is involved in anything, he's usually the speed of the race. But he has sat in one. Giodoro needs the lead, and I would imagine Manny Franco is just going to put him on the front end. This is a kind of race where I don't love the favorite in the first. I want to survive this race. I don't like a couple of the trainer changes in here with some of the horses are going to take money to 2, Hammer and Hammer off the claim, the 7 Mind the Coin off the claim. I don't really like Deep Sea. I want to get the 3, 4, 5, or 6 home in here. I think the wet track probably hurts I Love Jackson the most.
I agree.
But I Love Jackson is another horse who has races. I want the horses that are going to be forward. Giodoro, Big Mountain. They're going to be forward. Give me the 2 of them.
Yeah, Giodoro, there's a lot to like. The problem with it, he has not won since January 4 of 2019.
Yeah, it's been a while.
He's had a lot of chances.
It's been a while. It's been 20, well, that's almost 27 months. Yeah, it's been an awfully long time. But his last race for this 12-5 was his most competitive in a while. And I would think that, again, being forward, he's another horse. His best races have come with some moisture in the track as well, so hopefully the wet track helps him.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. 7 seconds, too, from 22 starts.
Yeah.
I would say definitely a horse you want
It's
to
a
the exacta,
concern.
too.
It's a concern.
Third race, allowance optional claiming group, New York breds, another 1-turn mile coming up in this spot. You have Lobster back in action, and they have Chocolade, who won first time out, sprinting on a sloppy track for Bill Mott, and now they're going to stretch him out to a mile for start number 2.
Yeah, son of Diurn, out of a Holy Bull mare, the stretch out from the 6 furlongs to the mile. Won here on a sloppy track, getting the job done in his first start.
Here's Lobster, though.
Yeah, here's Lobster winning in the mud as well. He's holding off Full Moon Fever, who's in here as well. Full Moon Fever had a big win going 9 furlongs last time. He'll cut back to the mile.
What do you make of that next start from Lobster? Nicky DeVess, we're going to see, obviously, in the Wood.
Yeah.
He's incredibly talented, the run happy. he still held off Perfect Munnings, who was, a stakes winner in his own right. He was second in the Damon Runyon next time out. He doesn't. Is that race good enough to win here if he repeats that?
I would think it is. He has to deal with Chocolat early. And when he broke his maiden, he was able to sit off. I think he's going to have to do the same thing in here. I think he's going to have to just sit just off Chocolat. And we'll see how it unfolds from there. This is another race I felt pretty comfortable with 3s, 4s, and 5s. Bingo John was interesting. Bingo John was a horse that took a ton of money when he won. And apparently there was this big workout that, I don't even think it's on the card. There was a 47 work, and it's not on the card anymore. Apparently he worked, he looked like a stakes horse in his work, and he was bet off of the work. He got the job done. I don't know if he won as impressively as they thought he would off of that workout. And now we haven't seen him in almost 2 months. Got a handful of works under his belt for Brad Cox. He makes a lot of sense in here as well. And Lobster. I think it's those three. Not giving you much here. They're going to be 3 of the favorites. I would imagine Lobster's going to be a shorter price than Full Moon Fever off that big win in the mud.
Yeah, the thing with Chocolat, impressive to win like that first time out, to do it on a sloppy track, which we're going to have those conditions today. But the Dam, too, was productive on a sloppy track and also produced another horse who, one of his career best performances, Free Cover, actually came on a sloppy racetrack. At one time, that horse was third in a race against Kofefe, a distant third. Kofefe was an incredible sprinter, obviously, but has a history of producing some horses who can handle the offgoing. Yeah,
this is a fun card today. The opener is a fun race. This is a fun race. I'm looking forward to watching these races today.
You gonna go off early pick 5? You gonna go after?
Yeah, I'll play an early pick 5. When you're staring at a horse that's 3 to 5 in the morning line, that's 3 to 5 in real time odds in the open that you don't particularly care for, I think you have to.
4th race, 20 maiden claiming event. Another 1-turn mile here coming up.
We finally agree.
Yeah, first of all, you're not going to get 3 to 1 on Orphan Halley.
Listen, there's another race. This was a tough time with this race. 2s, 4s, and 7s for me. Orphan Halley. You look at Orphan Halley and say, all right, 0 for 10 in her career. She's only made 4 starts on the dirt. Her other races have come on the all-weather up at Woodbine. And truth be told, the 2 races going the mile at this level, they're competitive. If she runs back to either of her last 2 races, I would imagine she's going to be right there today. You can't really trust these bottom-level maidens, but I would think she has to get a big piece of this if she can run either of his last 2. I keep saying her, either of his last 2 races.
I know I want to say her too. And you saw that race. She finished second. Kith was behind him in that race, running third. But she was legitimately. It says 6 wide in upper stretch. He was 6 wide in that race. And then the thing with Kith, though, I went back and watched Kith's race because I wanted to see who I thought ran the better race. It was Orphan Halley for me. But Kith, I love this horse. I don't love him in this race, but I love him because he's such an absolute grinder. He had a really tight spot early on in the stretch where there were 2 horses in front of him, and he didn't care. He just bowled right through there. He just keeps running and running and grinding away. So I think he'll be close in the end. I just think Orphan Halley's a better horse.
So it's funny. The fact that it's not in the notes. It's not in the trip notes. This horse had a trip last time. This horse, like you said, the hole disappeared. This horse was going to win last time. I think this horse is going to get overbet off of that trip last time. Now, you see a rider change to Eric Cancel. Jorge Vargas is hurt. He wasn't taken off the horse. Jorge Vargas is out a month and a half or so. So you see an Eric Cancel, who, by the way, has done a tremendous job closing the gap with Kendra Carmouche. They go into today, last day of the winter meet. Eric's just 4 behind Kendrick. I believe it's 76 to 72. The trainer race is open. The owner's race is over.
Each had 2 yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, each had 2 yesterday. Eric had a little tough luck earlier this week. He had a controversial, a lot of what people feel was a controversial DQ. He had Icy Dude blow that big lead in the stretch. So this could have very well been 2 with a little bit of a different as the world turns vibe to it. But I think Eric's done an amazing job this winter. this is the kind of horse that Eric excels at. He's going to save some ground. He's going to make one run. I wonder if a horse like Black and Tan, who's going to stretch out here, the blinkers seemed to help a little bit last time, got this horse a little faster early. There's no speed in here, Greg. Let's see how the track's playing. He's a little interesting to me, maybe just, again, Manny Franco being aggressive from the inside draw, getting to the front, and maybe getting in front of a bunch of horses that so far don't really want to seem to pass a lot of horses.
I was just going to say the exact same thing. You're reading my mind right now. Yeah, that one on the stretch out, that last start put in a really good, this horse put in a move. And then mid-stretch was just empty. So the dam has actually produced a couple of horses who have won routing. So the stretch out's intriguing here with Black and Tan. I agree.
Yeah. So twos, 4s, and 7s for me.
I'm worn out. Can we take a break?
Yeah, halfway home.
We'll be right back.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Back on Talking Horses, Greg Wolf, Anthony Stabile, who is calling the action today. It's going to be good to hear you on the mic.
Be fun. Love it. Filling in for Johnny I on some Sundays. Got one more left coming up. We'll close next Sunday for Easter. And back in the booth April 11th.
All right, look forward to it.
Can't believe we only have, 3 weeks left here.
I know. Then over to Belmont.
Love Aqueduct. It's like a second home. Place is great. Love this
Someone
place.
argued it's your first home.
You're
here
I'm here
more than you are at home, probably, aren't you?
I'm here a lot. Yes, I am.
Race 5, $14,000 claiming race, non-winners at 3 lifetime, 6 furlong sprint, and Mebs Webb, if she can produce that race from last time out, she's 2 for 18 lifetime.
You are a brave soul,
wow.
Greg Wolf. Let nobody ever say anything about your bravery, my friend. You're going with Mebs Webb for back-to-back wins. I love
the consistency.
Love it.
There's no consistency.
Yeah.
But this was a big effort.
She has been, dependable's not the right word when you think of 14 3-life claimers, but her last 4 races, she's shown up with races.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think she's a little bit better. I don't know if I would say obviously, but it certainly appears to me that she's a little bit better with less distance. The sprint races, I think, are a little faster than her distance than the mile efforts. She gets the 6 furlongs today. She's a horse that, on a spread, I would certainly be using. This is one of those, the 4th and 5th, obviously the 3rd race starts the Empire 6 with the mandatory. Race 4 starts the late pick 5. This starts the late pick 4. So all of these races are important, but the 4th and 5th in particular, because they are involved in all of the 5th race is involved in all of the multi-race wagers today. Every single one of them. The 2 pick 4s, the 2 pick 5s, and the Empire 6. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have her in the top 5, in the top 4 rather. I'm using her in the spread. I just want, there's another race where had a little bit of a tough time with this race. Want to get back to left-leaning Lucy, who I do believe is just a little bit better. She tried the quarter races the last 2 times. Dropping back into the bottom now, I just think she's going to be a little bit more effective.
Dropping class. The last time when she faced Mebs Webb, she dusted her by 4+ lengths. She's intrigued. It's David Donk, who I have the highest respect for. City Temper, though, the race goes through City Temper.
The race goes through City Temper, not only because she's the quote-unquote class of the race, but she's got plenty of early gas. And that could give left-leaning Lucy some fits on the front end. She's faster than left-leaning Lucy. She's supposed to be in front in here. They're going to put left-leaning Lucy on the chase today. See, left-leaning Lucy's best race comes on a wet track. I think last time she was just kind of up against it and just running against much better. She gets the relief. She's going to have to do something she's never done. She's going to have to sit and win. She's going to have to do that today. Her 2 wins have come when she was able to control. You can argue that last time she didn't get to the lead. You could also argue she didn't have the best trip last time, and you can also argue that she was running against better. So I'm going to give her one more chance.
Isn't it remarkable, too? Like, so you see these races, left-leaning Lucy, she was in 25 and 3L last start. When these lower-level claiming horses jump up just a little too tough, they can just show nothing. And when they get back to where they belong, it changes everything.
And Andy and I talk about this all the time, talk about it on HRN all the time. It's not even so much the worth of the tag. This is the bottom. And I think I think people need to get that and deal with that and understand that. She goes to the bottom. So yeah, it goes from 25 to 14. But it's not so much the value of the tag. She is at the bottom now. This is the bottom level of this condition race. I think that's very important.
And real quick, Gentle Annie is your second choice?
Gentle Annie's another horse. You know, she hasn't had the success on wet tracks, but she's run against, I mean, she ran the last time she caught a wet track, she ran against an open quarter claimer, state-bred quarter claimer against horses that have won multiple races. She caught Forgotten Hero and Awesome Milana. Her last two races, I don't think are that bad. Maybe she's better with a touch more ground. Maybe 6 isn't her best distance. But I mean, you look at some of her races. She's another one. I think she's run against, not better, but I think she's running against some horses that have had some success this winter. I think if City Temper, who is the horse to beat in here, obviously, like you said, the race goes through City Temper, but if she's not 100%, not ready to roll 100%, I think horses like Left Leaning Lucy and Gentle Annie can come calling. Gary Siaka's had it quietly, I know he's only won at 8%, but Gary Siaka's horse is quietly having a good winter here in New York.
I like your selection in that race a lot, if it's not City Temper.
Yeah.
6th race. A other than allowance. We had
Gets
a
a
lot
little-
of one-turn miles today.
6 of them. Not that I'm counting. I love two-turn. I love calling the two-turn races here. I love calling all the races here, but I'm a big fan of the 9 furlong races. Love the two-turn races. But yeah, that shoot's an old friend. I like handicapping and betting on shoot races. Love betting, but that's because I grew up in New York and we have shoots everywhere, including Saratoga. It's only 7/8 in Saratoga, but we have shoots.
Do you think you have a better feel on those races?
I don't know if it's a better feel. I think I'm just more accustomed to them because I've been doing it my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, this race coming up, you went to, Make Mischief, Chris Englehart. We have the last 2 winners of the Mattie May here, Ice Princess and Make Mischief.
Yeah. This is another fun race. It's down to a field of 5 with the scratch of South Shore. Here's Ice Princess.
How do you look at this race? She was 3 to 5 in this race. She doesn't get the job done, but I mean, she's going to be an overwhelming favorite again, I believe, today.
Yeah, Maiden Beauty came back to win. I don't know if she's going to be overwhelming favorite. And I know it's very quick to just say, oh, this is a 2-horse race between Make Mischief and Ice Princess. I don't think it's that easy. You and I have them in inverted order in here. I thought she ran okay last time. Now, she's another horse. Certainly appreciates some moisture in the ground. She's had success on it. I think she's good on dry tracks. But, I mean, on that one figure in the Comely where she was a long way behind Mrs. Danvers, you can say, that was certainly the exception to her rule when you look at her PPs, everything else in the 70s and 60s. And she has that one big gaudy 93 staring you in the face. But on her best day, she can't lose. On her, the effort she puts forth on a regular basis, she's the horse to beat in here as well. The race last time, she should have probably won the race last time. But she got beat. She got beat by horses in good form right now, too, by the way, in Maiden Beauty. So I'm not going to necessarily hold it against her. I figured she was going to be 3 to 5 in here. And I thought Make Mischief has had a nice little run here this winter for Chris Englehart. I really do. The 2 races against State Breds were good. I know she had
That wet track Tomlinson is huge, too.
And I know she was able to get up the inside when she beat Brattle House in the Mattie May, and I know the rail was giant then. But she came back quick in the Busher. She got beat a ways, but, I mean, she got beat to horses. That would be prohibitive. They'd be barred from wagering in this race. So I took one more shot with her.
Both these 2 are incredibly consistent. Look, she's Make Mischief, 6 for 8. She's been 1st or 2nd in her career. I just feel like the best races of when you take both these 2, if they run their best, Ice Princess's best is better than Make Mischief.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
We'll see. Too bad. South of the Shore, I thought was an intriguing outsider, but that horse scratched. And
we talked about how the wet track, Adwa's probably the horse most affected by this wet track today. She's a horse who Kelly Breen and John Atfield did a fantastic job with her this winter, managing her up here, and it just looks to me like the wet track's going to be a hindrance today.
All right, and you got Kendrick from that outside slot too, an Ice Princess, who's it looks like I don't know. Maybe the connections were upset they didn't get it done because Franco's been on this horse a lot.
Yeah, but Danny Gargan rides Kendrick an awful lot. So
7th race,
the Haynesfield
time. I don't think we're going to see a Mr. Buff-like performance today. What do you win by 20 and a quarter?
Yeah,
last year.
Remember Haynesfield was fantastic. Haynesfield won the 2010 Jockey Club Gold Cup over Blaine before Blaine went on to upset Zenyatta.
We're going to show you that later today.
Okay.
On the program.
I made a very large bet on Haynesfield the start before in the Woodward. Mm-hmm. He broke through the gate, acted up crazy, the old OTB days. So I had actual tickets, but I went home to watch the race, so I couldn't cancel. I had $4 in my Naira account when he won the Jockey Club Gold Cup, and stubbornly betted on him to win. So got crushed in the Woodward, but got all the money in the.
What do you got?
I got a whole $10.
Nice.
And $21 in my account the next day. I was very happy.
All right. Well, here we have Bankett. As we touched upon at the top of this when we started it out, he does not love sloppy racetracks. I went back and I looked. 2 times he's been on a pure sloppy track. 6.5 furlongs in New York Stallion Stakes, he was 5th, and then the Essex, when he was at a mile to 16th, he ran 7th. So it's not been good. The crazy thing about him, when he started out, he was a pure speed sprinter at 5 and 5.5 furlongs.
Crazy how these horses develop.
And now he is a dead. And the minute they stretched him out going longer, he started to settle and relax and come from the back of the pack. You don't see that very often.
You can argue. See, I'm a big wet track guy. I feel like you're along the same line. You're certainly closer to me than you are to Andy when it comes to the wet tracks.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind he has just gotten better. He's a better horse now. I mean, there's no way. The old Bankett, no way would the old Bankett have put together 2 races like he did in his last 2. I mean, he took a step backwards last time and still found a way to win and got the job done. With that said, you look at his wet track form and you look at his wet track races. He got beat to Tom's Daytona Improbable last year on the wet track. So what's this race shape for him? Does the cutback to the mile hurt him? You see, I think the cutback to the mile hurts him a little bit.
It does.
That's what I think. And I think when you combine the cutback to the mile with the wet track and the fact that he's going to be 2 to 5 or 3 to 5, I'll take a little teeny bit of a chance.
He's just so much better than these horses.
He is.
And you say that, those last 2 races, wow, he took such a huge forward. He's been a really, really good horse for a long time. He just hasn't broken through and gotten these wins, but he's run big. I've been chasing him for like 2 years.
Earned almost $900,000 in his career.
Yeah. I mean, he's just remarkably consistent. But you're right. I mean, at a mile, 1 for 7 lifetime. And there's not a ton of pace for him really to chase in this race, is there?
No, he's getting beat 3 lengths to Mr. Money and open company graded stakes horses in these races. I understand that. I just wanted to take a little bit of a chance against him. I think part of me in my sick head saying to myself, how is Bankett going to win 3 in a row? I mean, that's like part of it.
Maybe facing a group.
Yeah, maybe facing this group.
It seems like everybody else, you say he doesn't like a mile, but it seems like everybody else in this group, that's not their forte either.
No, well, we're going to find out about South Africa. He's won race at a mile, came off a year-plus layoff on the turf. So he's going to try to go, and his 7/8 race is very good when he broke his maiden. I'm just going to try and bottom this field out with South Africa, knowing that Bankett's the horse to beat. I've been right and wrong about my boy Tate, who got a pretty good setup last time. Now he also gets his more. I mean, talk about a horse that's a wet track lover, 4 for 5 in his career. Mm-hmm. I want South Africa to try to bottom him out, and if he doesn't bottom him out, I think Bankett's supposed to come and get him. But fun renewal of the Haynesfield.
Kendrick alone in front on that horse?
I would imagine. I would think that. That's the plan in here. The plan in here is to put South Africa on a lead, and he serves 2 purposes. A, he'll be alone on the lead, and B, if my boy Tate's the intended, he has a target today.
So, and we're going to see probably what? Do you think he'll be 4 to 5 Bankett or lower?
I think it'll be shorter. My boy Tate's got to go a mile. the race was 7/8 might be a different story, but the fact that my boy Tate has to go to mile today, I think bank it'll be 3 to 5, 1 to 2, 3 to 5.
Want to see if he can get it. He's going to take a lot of kickback.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can handle it. We'll see if he can handle it.
See the
today.
finish line by the time he gets into the stretch.
He's just a much better horse right now. So
no question. Yeah, and he's going to be a single. A lot of people are going to lean on.
I believe so.
Last race, 16 claiming race, non-winners at 2 lifetimes, 7/8 of a mile. Yankee Empire is unquestionably the horse to beat. John Kimmel, Kendrick Carmouche, and if it happened to be a massive day from Cancel, this might be where Kendrick says, so long.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if my picks are right, Kendrick better hope it doesn't come down to this one because I think Eric Cancel's going to win this one. How I Invasion. But yeah, this horse's race 2 starts back. A 77 Beyer speed figure. If we were to just take that out of his card, he looks like he fits here. You put that on his card, he's supposed to win. Unrelenting Force has one huge number that I don't think anybody knows where that race. Still can't figure out where that race came from. Other than that, the body of work is certainly with Yankee Empire, but you do have to deal with a pretty lengthy layoff.
Yeah, no question.
August, in for the last seen for 40, again in for the bottom now at the 16. Mm-hmm. So he's not only cut in half in actual, on the tag itself, but he goes from running for 40, misses a couple of stops, and just goes right to the bottom off the layoff. So could have ran this horse in a 42 life and been in for a waiver. Instead, they just drop him all the way into the 16 first time off the bench. I don't think that's a great sign.
And, back to the one for a minute, Unrelenting Force, we both picked him second. He's really intriguing to me. Even though he has one on and off track, he's hit the board in all 4 tries. And even though he's going to cut back a little bit in here, drawn inside, blinkers coming off, he could be on the lead.
Well, I don't think he can get in front of Macho Boy. But I think he's a player in here today because I think maybe he's able to work the trip off of Macho Boy. Again, a horse that his one win came when he was able to go really fast early and just bottom a field out. He's going to have to show that he could pass horses. We'll see. Another horse dropping in, cutting back from the mile last time.
He showed 21 and change speed in the sprint, was on the lead at one point in his career.
Yeah, up at Saratoga. I wonder if that version of Unrelenting Force exists anymore. I don't know if he can go that fast. But I'll tell you what, going the 7/8, I think it's probably a tougher task for Macho Boy, and I think it helps Unrelenting Force in here. So,
Allied Invasion, though, your top pick.
Yeah.
Cancel.
Tried him last time at 9.
At a mile and 1/8 last out.
Tried him going long. Tried him going 9 furlongs last time. Now he cuts back to the 7. You look at the horses he's run against since they moved him to the dirt. Economic Policy was kind of like running a ringer that day. Lost in Rome's proved to be a useful horse this winter. Wild Banker and Dust Devil have won and run well in the starter races. And then last time, he was alternating on the lead, and Mayam and Gina looked like Gunrunner going by those horses that day. So now he cuts back to 7. He gets our second leading rider in Eric Cancel. I don't know. I thought he made some sense today off of, I don't think he'll be too far from, he'll at the very least be in shouting distance of some of the speed in here.
All right. But again, Yankee Empire, how short is he going to be in this race?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to bet Yankee Empire. That's a pretty big layoff, and that's a substantial drop. It'll probably be under 2 to 1.
6 to 5, maybe?
Maybe.
That's a wrap.
I lost my program.
Over, under, how many wins are we going to get between us?
Between us? I think this is tomorrow's. We just missed last time.
We did.
We had over under 5, and 4.5, and we went 4. I think we could be. I think we could. I think we could go to 5 today.
All right, that's the line.
This is where you can play them, though. You can play them over at Naira Bets.
Go to NairaBets.com. You can download the app as well, the Naira app. Again, if you're going to get signed up and started, great day to do it. Use that promo code MATCH200, and you'll get that sign-up bonus up to $200 in your account. Good luck to everybody playing this afternoon. And your favorite?
Last race cash back, $10 to win on our last race or the last race at Oaklawn. If you finish second, you get your sawbuck back. For those of you that don't know what a sawbuck is, it's $10.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know the origins of sawbuck, but that is a very old. That's a very old slang for a $10 bill.
So, can you lend me a sawbuck?
Yeah. Or most people around here would ask you for a double sawbuck, which is 20. Why ask for 10
I need
when you
about
can ask
50
for, why ask for
sawbucks.
10 when you can ask for 20, Greg?
I'm back with you. I had so much fun. Let's do it again Thursday.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right.
April Fools.
Yes. I'll be prepared.
You're way too excited for that.
See you then. Enjoy the card. This man's going to be on the mic today.
Yes, looking forward to it.
All right.
We got the changes for you. We got a reprise of the scratches and changes in about 90 seconds. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Aqueduct. Morning rains has left us with a sloppy main track for this final day of racing in March. Temperatures in the mid-50s, maybe getting to 60 degrees today. Again, sloppy, still raining a little bit here in the Big Apple. Empire 6 begins in race number 3, mandatory payout each and every day here at Aqueduct in that Empire 6. Here are the changes for today's 8-race card. Early pick 5 begins in race 1. There are no changes. Early pick 4 begins in race 2. No changes. And the mandatory payout in the Empire 6 begins in race 3, and there are no changes. Race 4 starts the late pick 5. Scratch the 1, Esor. Scratch the 1, Esor out of race number 4. And overweight for the number 5, Our Lucky Man, 1 pound over. 1 pound overweight on the 5, Our Lucky Man, in race number 4. A scratch out of the 5th, where we begin the late pick 4. Take out the 5, Dazzling Speed. Race 5, scratch the 5, Dazzling Speed. Race number 6, scratch the 2, South of the Shore. Race 6, scratch the 2. And please note the number 3, Baba, wears a hood again. Hood again on the number 3, Baba.